Okay, hello everybody and welcome to the Ultimate Racing Championships here in Canada today. I'm James Casey, bringing you the commentary for this race. And sorry we're a little bit late getting underway. There was no problems or anything with the lobby. I just disconnected, so I've had to rejoin. But yeah, so we are 10 minutes into the session, 8 minutes remaining. And let's have a look at the tyres that people have used so far. We've seen a few laps on the Hypersofts, which is of course the softest compound here, along with the Ultra Softs and the Super Soft tyres, which is what a majority of the top 10 are using at the moment. We're just seeing a few people now in the pits just about to come out, or having just come out on the Hypersoft tyres to put in some laps. WR Clone Troop currently on provisional pole with a 1 minute 8.147. Now with a delay, I'll have to do my little run through of the championship and everything a little bit quicker than I usually do. Obviously only a few minutes remaining, but just a reminder, championship leader is ERL Chimera with 93 points, 25 clear of ERL Vader. Neither of them were in Monaco, and we haven't seen Vader actually since China, but he's now back, and so is Chimera. ERL back to full strength there, and ready for those guys to fight for the championship. Tom 123 for the win in third, level on points after that fourth place in Monaco with Vader, and yeah, he's not here today, so that's a big missed opportunity for him in the championship. And also for PFL Bartek Fraz, who should be in the Force India alongside its pro gamer, who we're just looking at now, but he cannot make it today, so he's being replaced for this one by Sager again. PFL Sager currently in second. So yeah, a couple missing there, but WR Clone Troop is back, and he's next in the championship, currently 5th on 49 points. And our winner actually as well from last time out, TSR Baztek, another one missing today. But in general, the turnout is good. We've got 18 drivers, so the reserves filling in for this one. And yeah, it should be an interesting one. Canada always full of action, incidents, and quite a lot of overtaking as well. It's pro gamer not completing that lap. Let's go towards the top here. Try and find someone who could be competing for pole position. Of course, the ERL guys are going to be doing that. Vader currently just gone out there on the Hypersoft tyres, but we will have to wait for him to set a lap. And Chimera just going around on the Super Softs at the moment, just getting his eye in before going in for the big lap. Here comes a Maze to the end of his lap. Getting a nice little tow there from his teammate down the straight, Frobajobo. Frobajobo goes into 8th. There's no improvement from... oh no, sorry, that was Maze just starting his lap there. He's going to be following along his teammate. I don't know how this is going to work, actually. Yeah, that's nice actually. Got a nice little gap there between, so he's not going to be getting dirty air, but he should get a very nice tow down the back straight. So a bit of teamwork going on here. Vader's just pumped in lap. 108.3 there, so not able to put himself to the top. Oh, but there's a mistake. Oh, they almost crashed that. And he's going straight on, almost crashing into his teammate. An interesting one there. Of course, that's that lap gone. Yeah, Vader just cruising around for the moment. No one currently able to beat that time by Clone Troop. Here comes Sager now. Is he completing lap or just starting one? No, he has completed one, but he hasn't improved. Still a 108.268 there. So an early lap from Clone Troop could actually turn out to be a very good one. Let's just quickly go through the League Championship as well. Just got a few cars now in the pit lane, or just on out laps or cool down laps. ERL again leading quite comfortably by 75 points. Sync on 93. And PFL then on 60 in third. But it's very close to that battle for third. Shazoo next, 1 point behind. Livid Racing on 54. BPRL 49. Tempershoot on 47. 183 on 45. So very close there in the battle for third position. But ERL Black very comfortable at the top. And at the moment, Cinco a comfortable second place as well. Okay, so we're seeing a few people now coming out on the ultra soft tyres. So quite a few people going on to the hypersofts, which of course race-wise not the best tyre to start on, because it won't last as long. But we are seeing a few now giving it a go on the ultra softs. Just means that they can go a little bit longer on that first stint, which is definitely helpful. Just opening up strategically your options. And that's what we've seen so far this season. Only a few people attempting to start on the Hubsoft tyres. Its Pro Game has just gone into 6th position with a 108.6. And of course, these are the tyres that they're now committing themselves to with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left in the session. Those cars out there, they're going to be setting their final laps, their crucial laps now on these tyres that they are currently on. Let's have a look at the gap between it. Oh, Killer Snipers has just gone to the top, and what a lap that is as well. On the ultra soft tyres, able to go to the top, just edging out Clone Troop by a very slim margin, but on harder tyres. So that's a very good run from him. Clone Troop will be desperate to regain that pole position. He hasn't got to find much time as well. Just see a Mercedes in front there. Is that Ben? No, that's not Benzilla, sorry. So that is Bacon Yum, who showed very good pace in Monaco when he made his appearance there. First appearance of the season. So let's see what he can do. Currently in last and needs this lap. Oh, 1:13.6. And Clone Troop doesn't improve. Clone Troop cannot find any time. Yeah, and he's backed off as well, so that's his chances of pole gone with only a minute left in the session. And Bacon Yum is going to have to improve. Hasn't put in a proper lap yet. That one there, 1:13, so a long way off. Here's Vader there. He's probably been the quickest man we've seen so far this season. Ice-T, very good lap from him again on the ultra soft tyres, putting in a very good time. But yeah, Kima and Vader have probably been in well, they have been in a class of their own really in terms of consistency throughout a race distance. Just haven't turned up all the time. We've only seen them go head-to-head twice, actually, these two drivers. And it's one apiece in those two races between them. Benzilla goes to the top then. Second lap on those ultra-soft tyres, but he's found a very good lap time out of them. Going 2/10 clear. Great effort from him. We won't see any more laps from Killer Snipers there in second position. Just seeing a few more cars coming up to the line now. Bacon Yum, there he goes. There that he was looking for. And again, it's a Sync Motorsport 1-2. That's what we saw last week in qualifying, and it looks like we're going to see it again. Vader only manages 7th position there. No improvement for the ERL driver, and Keymerit is slowing down as well. So he's going to be 10th on the grid at best. Ice-T there backing out. I don't think we're going to see any more laps, to be honest. I think that's it. Amazed again, trying the slipstream with his teammate Frobo Jobo. That's working nicely. That's going to give him lap time. Jam Pancakes has gone up into 6th position. Good effort from him. Lots of guys using the ultra soft tyres to good effect, and Amazed has messed it up coming out of the final chicane. And like Kevin Magnussen, pinballed into the other wall, crossing the wall of champions. Didn't destroy his car though, just losing his front wing, but nonetheless ruining his lap, meaning he'll start outside the top 10. I'm shocked by how people haven't been able to make the Hypersoft tyres work here. most of the top 10 is ultra soft tyres, despite a lot of people giving it a go on the hypersofts. Obviously not a big performance difference between the two. And Chris Macker-Jones has just backed out of that lap as well. He was the final man to complete. But yeah, very interesting there. The hypersoft tyres not giving a big performance advantage, and those on the ultra soft tyres putting in very good laps. And obviously they're now in a good position for the start of this race. Both in grid position, surprisingly, and also in the tyres that they've got on for strategy. So looking very good for those guys. And it is Benzilla on pole, very close, less than 1/10 of a second between him and his teammate Bacon Yum. Pifel Sager there in 3rd place, exactly a 10th off. Killer Snipers in 4th, 1.5 tenths off. Then it's Clone Troop in 5th, Pancakes in 6th, very close between that top 6 there, less than 2/10. Then Ice-T, Vader, disappointing for him, Pro Gamer, LCR Ben, Chimera, Amazed, Pickless, BPRL Goblin, Chris Macker-Jones, Frobo Joba, BPRL Imp, and LCR Apex rounding out there. But yeah, 1.1 seconds between the top 17 drivers, so very, very close across the different compounds of tyres. And yeah, I think that sets it up for a very interesting race. Of course, those outside of the top 10 will get a choice on what tyres they start on. So if they qualified on the hypersoft tyres, they're not now at a disadvantage, but those in the top 10 are slightly. But yeah, what a qualifying session once again for the Sync Motorsport guys. Last week it was Bacon Yum on pole in his first race ahead of Tom. And of course they've changed that lineup now with Benzilla back. Tom not around this week. And it's still worked for them in qualifying. What they couldn't do last week was convert that into a good race result. Bacon Yum DNF'd after crashing. And Tom unfortunately ended up in 4th, changing his front wing towards the end. So this week they've got to deliver. They didn't take the points out of ERL. They should have last week. But they've got an opportunity to here. ERL, of course, didn't have their main 2 drivers then. Now they do, but still a great opportunity for Sync with that qualifying that we've just seen. Okay, it's time for the formation lap. And, of course, we've only seen this in the last couple of rounds. Timing's just changing ever so slightly. Tier 1 will be at getting underway into qualifying at 7:10. Now, it just gives us a few more minutes, so we've got a formation lap here. And look at that, that is very stark. The choice from those outside the top 10, all but ESR Amazed, going onto the super soft tyres. You don't often see that almost unanimous decision from those outside the top 10 to go onto the hardest compound of tyres. That's going to be interesting to see how that works. We're going to see a lot of cars there staying out long and getting in the way of those pitting towards the front. Of course, it's going to be Benzilla and Bacon Yum at the front there on the ultra softs, so they're going to be able to go a reasonable distance. But we're going to be seeing Sager, Clone Troop, Vader in quite early, along with Pro Gamer and Ben as well on those hypersofts. So those guys are going to have to work their way through a little bit of traffic, if their pace is good, of course. If it's not, those super soft tyres runners won't even get in their way. But anyway, here they come down the back straight now, weaving, getting last little bit of tyre temperature before the race gets underway. And I think we could see a cracker here. Very close qualifying, 18 runners, and I think we'll see a lot more finishers as well compared to last time out in Monaco. So I think there'll be plenty of action throughout this race, and it's just about now to get underway. Here we go then. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, and 5. And we're racing in URC. Benzilla gets a great start away from the front. Bacon Yum as well, they're following him through. And we've got Hasta off. Killer Snipers running very, very wide and losing out on the opportunity of taking 3rd. It's Clone Troop who's had the good start, working his way past Sager. And Pancakes, despite running off, looks like he hasn't lost out too badly, although his teammate Killer Snipers has managed to go through on him. But looks like we've seen a relatively clean start with not too many changes in position. Pro Gamer, though, has lost out badly. What's happened to him? He's dropped down a number of positions there. Might have damage, I'm not sure, but no, it doesn't look like he's got it. But still a very, very bad start for him. But what a great start it was for the two leaders. Bacon Yum actually has got through on Benzilla. Change in the lead there at this early stage, and we can see a big gainer there was BPL Imp, and our big loser was Pro Gamer. But yeah, Bacon Yum through on Benzilla. Wonder how long that's going to last for, because Benzilla very, very close going down the back straight here, as Sager having to defend from Killer Snipers, but Snipers is through. Another spot up for him, up 2 places on the opening lap. No big movements there for ERL Vader. In fact, he's held position still in 8th, and Chimera is down 1 spot into 12th. So ERL championship leaders in both the drivers and team championships not having a good start here whatsoever. We've got a yellow flag, including BPL Imp in the as well. He had a fantastic start, making up a number of positions, but has lost his front wing, or damaged it at least, and is now unfortunately having to make a pit stop and lose all that early momentum he had. And there's Pickless in the wall. Lost his front wing completely there. Must have just dropped it on the exit. Spun himself into the wall there. That's going to cost him very, very dearly, and he has decided to retire from the race. What a shame there for Pickless. Still very close here out the front between the Sync guys, but they're pulling away from the opposition. Of course, Clone Troop behind there on the Hypersoft tyre. He won't have much more performance at that tyre, I guess, in maybe a couple of laps' time. Bacon Yum holds the lead for the moment from Benzilla. Killer Snipers here seems to be the fastest man, I'd say. Moving through a couple of positions on that opening lap, and now charging down on WR Clone Troop. Wasn't able to get through on that lap, but DRS is now enabled, so things might become a little bit easier for him now that he can have that reduction of drag down the straight. Bacon Yum just slightly extending the advantage here by a few tenths in the opening sector of this lap. He'll be looking, hoping to get that gap over a second by the DRS detection, which is just coming up now. He's not going to have that gap. Yellow in sector 2, don't know what that could be for. I think it's for It's Pro Gamer of Frobo J, but I think they've had a bit of an incident there. We see Jam Pancakes going down the inside of Sager there. Sager turning in and just banging slightly with the wheel of Pancakes, but Pancakes is through there. Bacon Yum safe from attack from Benzilla, but Clone Troop certainly not from Pancakes, from Snipers, sorry. Not able to get through there. Lots of weaving going on down the straight there from Clone Troop. And we've got a big, big train here behind Pancakes. Sager, of course, who's just been passed by him. Just behind, then Ice-T, then Vader. Ben and Mazed, all very close there. 5th down to 10th. Very, very tight. This is sticking very, very close. It's in tune with what we saw in qualifying. They feel very competitive with each other. Snipers looks on the outside of Clone Troop, but it's not going to happen there. He does look like he's got more pace. Clone Troop's tyres are now going to be struggling for grip. Sager as well, who of course was just passed, along with Vader and Ben. And Vader needs to gain some positions soon if he wants the kind of result that we've seen so far this season from him. A little bit wide there from Clone Troop at the hairpin, and I think this could open up a very good opportunity for Snipers. But also Benzilla a lot closer to Bacon Yum this lap. He won't have a go on him, but will Snipers on Clone Troop. He's got the inside line going into the final chicane, and he makes it through. Very late braking there. A fantastic move by Snipers, cleanly through on Clone Troop for the final podium position. Pancakes extending his advances on Sager. Yeah, these tyres already, the Hypersofts, not as fast as the Ultrasofts, just wearing out a little bit quicker and allowing the guys on the Ultrasofts to put pressure on the Hypersoft runners. And of course, we did have a lot of people starting on these Supersoft tyres, those outside of the top 10. They haven't made any progress yet, still all sitting outside of the top 10. But their time will come. Those tyres are going to start performing when the Ultrasoft tyres especially start running out. They've still got a few more laps of grip. But it won't be long until they're defending like these guys currently on the Hypersofts. 3-second penalties there for LCR Ben. I think we could see quite a few here at Canada. Sager defending the inside line at the hairpin, but Icy looking to get around the outside. Won't work there, but now he's got a brilliant run going on to the back straight. And surely with DRS he'll be able to get through. Sager does have DRS on pancakes. But just that little bit of extra slipstream should help Icy through. Round the outside, he makes it stick. Snipers has picked up a 3-second time penalty as well there. Not good for him. And now we've got Vader looking to get through on Sager. He goes down the inside into turn 1. Aggressive move, but Sager, despite getting a little bit of a bump, is able to hold on there. Vader looking like he's got better pace despite being on the same compound of tyres. But he's losing out badly here. Still in 8th position and falling away from the front. Can't see much through the trees there of what's going on. But no doubt that Vader is very, very close to Sager. Should have a great opportunity at the end of this straight here. Of course, this is a DRS zone now for this season, which it hasn't been on previous games. And he's made that use very well. Pancakes is through on Clone Troop as well. Those tyres really giving up now for Clone Troop. He had a nice little gap on Pancakes a couple of laps ago, but he's just struggling. And look at this, Sync Motorsport 1 and 2, Livid Racing now 3 and 4. I think Ice-T will be looking to jump up into 5th now on Clone Troop. Looking down the inside and he's through. Big difference in performance now. Sager into the pits. Vader decides to stay out along with Ben as well. Those guys go slightly longer. Here comes a Maze now looking around the outside. That's surely not going to work. He's up into 9th. Kimura now in 10th. Thanks to that pit stop of Sager. He's going to come out in a lowly position here. Of course, we saw problems for Imp on lap 1. It's Pro Gamer as well. Making an early stop. Along with our retirements to be Pro Goblin and Pickless. So, yeah, Sager at the back, showing how close it is. It's not a big, long pit lane in Canada, but he's still dropped right to the bottom, just showing how close this field is so far. Amaze through on Ben. And I think Kimura is looking to come through as well. Kimura, that lead runner out of the super soft guys. And Vader is through on Clone Troop as well. So Clone Troop really, really struggling here with his pace. And that isn't tyre related because Vader is on the same compound of tyres. They're both on the Hypersoft tyres. Vader making those tyres work where other people aren't, perhaps. Ben is back through on Amaze though. And Amaze pits, which is surprising because he's on the Ultrasofts. He is on the Ultrasoft tyres, but he still decided to pit on lap 8. Pretty early for him. Clone Troop, not surprised to see him in the pit lane there. Changing his front wing as well, so that was his pace problem. Obviously had front wing damage, which he's now attending to. At least that gives him some hope for the rest of the race, I suppose, because his pace was poor, and that was the reason for it, of course. But look at this. Out at the front, Sync Motorsport. They were making it work in Monaco, but it all faltered around the pit stop region. They lost the lead at the pit stop phase when they were undercut, and then it just kind of capitulated as they were trying to work their way back into the race. This time, I don't know, is the undercut going to be as powerful as it was in Monaco? Not too sure on that one. Have got a nice little gap, but they've got to be wary of it. They've got to work together, which they are. They're not putting attacks on each other. They're just extending out between them. Although Killer Snipers is showing some great pace. We know he's already picked up a time penalty though, so he's got to be careful on that. So has Ice-T, and there's been a number of different time penalties just popping up at the bottom there. LCR Ben is in as well in those ultra soft tyres. And ERL just not having the race you would think from those guys. They're just still going at the moment, but those tyres will not be giving him any kind of pace whatsoever, as you can see from those gaps. Just extending now over 5 seconds behind 5th place Ice-T. Kimura gaining behind on the super soft tyres. Watch out for him later on. But at the moment his race is, well, not looking great, but we will see on that one. that's one that's going to pan out much, much later in this race for the super soft runners. It's going to be, well, it has been a tough start for them on those tyres, but it will come good, I'm sure. Look at this though, Snipers has the pace advantage over the front two. It was 1.5 seconds this time last lap, and now it's 1.2. So very slightly quicker here is Snipers. And this puts him in a fantastic position for the pit stop window. If he's nice and close, he'll be able to pressure that undercut. Here comes Vader in now. Let's see where he comes out. What's going on? This must be some kind of... There's some kind of visual glitch for me. Thought that would be the case. He wasn't going into his pit lane, but where's he going to come out? He's going to be behind Ben here. Perhaps. No, he's just in front. But behind Frobo Jobo, which isn't going to be ideal for him. Frobo Jobo yet to pit. So he's going to hold up Vader. Probably only for a matter of corners, you would expect. But he's still holding him up nonetheless. Look at that. He is losing a lot of time here, Vader, actually. Frobo Jobo is struggling. Of course, 9 laps he's had on those super soft tyres. You can see pretty much everyone now on those tyres. Vader looking around the outside. He's done it. Really brave move there. Saw it from the nose cam off Frobo Jobo. It looks like he's going to lose another position here. No, he just holds on against LCL Ben. But yeah, everyone going on to super soft tyres at their pit stops, other than Imp, who pitted one, having already used the super softs. Pancakes doesn't quite have the pace of his teammate Snipers, but Snipers has some fantastic pace here. Under a second now in Sync Motorsport, guys. Oh, but he's picked up a second time penalty already. That's already 6 seconds he's got to add to his race time. And we're only on lap 11. The laps fly by here at Canada, so we're almost at a third race distance. But to already have 6 seconds of time penalties is still a big, big problem for him. Obviously, Ben picks up a time penalty as well. I think this race could well be decided by these penalties. We have seen a few races where penalties have shaped up the order, and I expect this one to be a big shake-up here at Canada. As I said, plenty of places where you can just get it slightly wrong and pick up a corner-cutting warning. Our lead 2 continue on then. Sync Motorsport still 1 and 2 with Bacon Yum ahead of Benzilla. Killer Snipers behind in 3rd place. As it stands, this is going to be a fantastic race for Sync Motorsport in the team championship. They've got to keep their cool though. They've got to work together, which they are, as I said a few laps ago. They've got to not get too worried about Snipers. They might not be aware of his situation of already having 2 penalties. Well, in fact, they won't be, will they? The engineer will occasionally get on to the microphone telling you the car ahead has a penalty, but they don't give the detailed kind of analysis of how many they've got. The game engineer doesn't say exactly how much time penalties they have, so they really won't know. They'll probably be fearing here, thinking, we've got to fight hard to keep this win, but really, as long as they can keep a reasonable pace and not pick up the kind of penalties that Snipers has, they'll be in a good position. Sager with a 3-second time penalty as well there. He's one of the earliest men to pit on the Hypersoft tyres, and there we go, first pit stop for one of the leading Ultrasoft runners. It's Benzilla in. Again, we've got none of the pit crew are displaying for me for some reason, which is very, very odd. Let's see where he comes out. I would imagine ahead of Sager. Seen most of those super soft runners have already pitted. A lot of them running into trouble early on. It's only Keymirror and Macca Jones who started on the super softs and are still going in a decent position. So we're only going to see those guys on that strategy really making it work, I think. Benzilla, yeah, therefore coming out in a nice big area of open space. Thought that wouldn't be the case, but with the problems for the super soft runners, it's kind of worked out that these lead guys can pit without having to worry at all about being in some kind of traffic. So that's ideal for those guys. We've got a big gap to Chris Macker-Jones in front and should easily be ahead of Sager, I would imagine. You can see there Vader behind Apex, and here we go. Front two now in. This is going to be interesting to see how this works out. Bacon Yum was our leader. Has Benzilla managed to undercut his teammate at the pit stop here? As Ice-T comes in as well. Going to be behind Kima and Macker-Jones as we thought, but where is it going to compare to Benzilla? There we go. Bacon Yum comes out. He's just going to hold the lead on Benzilla. So pitting a lap later hasn't quite cost him the lead, but look who has lost out. Killer Snipers there. Must have been held in the pit lane just a little bit longer because he's lost over a second and a half. They're up 2 seconds pretty much. So that's not worked out well at all for him. He's got to work to catch back up again. Very good for Sync Motorsport. I said the pit stop phase was where they started to unravel in Monaco. It's where they've come good here. They've got that bang on. The two cars still at the lead. They've got a nice little gap to Kima and Macker-Jones. They don't have to worry about overtaking them straight away. They can get into a rhythm, do a few laps on these tyres before having to worry about making any overtakes. Where is Pancakes going to come out? Of course, he was in 4th position, was closely pressured by Ice-T behind, but Killer Snipers in front of him, of course, had that slow pit stop. So this is going to be interesting. He could come out anywhere between a net 3rd and a net 5th. It's going to be a net 5th. He's lost out to Ice-T, so not able to gain enough time on Snipers and losing out slightly to Ice-T. So not a good pit stop phase there for Livid Racing. They've lost a lot of time with one car and a position with the other. Still looking strong though. Net 3rd, net 5th. Not too bad for those guys, but Ice-T looks quick in that temper shoot car. Kima and Macker-Jones still going strong with the super soft tyres. They've still got a few laps to go on these. At least another 5 laps, I'd imagine. And these guys who started on the Hypersoft tyres, it hasn't worked out for them, has it? Sager was 3rd on the grid, wasn't he? And he's now down in what will be a net 6th. But he could well be under pressure from Kima and Macker-Jones towards the end of this race, because he's going to be asking a lot of laps out of these super soft tyres, of course having pitted a little bit earlier. So he'll be under threat, and he's quite a long way behind Pancakes there. As is Vader, who's managed to get past Ben. He was behind him a couple of laps ago. He's now in front. Looking like Vader has no chance of victory here, which is a surprise. He looked really, really good. Of course, he's only appeared in 3 races. It's very strange. He's only appeared in 3 races, but is still 2nd in the championship, and that's because he's been so quick. But just not showing it today. Macker-Jones has a penalty there as well. So many penalties. We'll check it up at some point, but later on I'm thinking, because there's been a steady stream of penalties coming through. Ice-T is through on Killer Snipers at the hairpin, but runs it wide and loses out. But now he can get a good run onto the straight. With DRS, might be able to make the overtake here. He's got the outside line, which isn't ideal, but he is in front. But no, doesn't make it work. Needs to be on the inside there. Killer Sniper's just braking a tiny bit later, then having the line to hold position. Overall they're in 3rd, but Ice-T showing some really good pace and giving it a go there for what is looking like the final podium position. But all that is just helping the Sync Motorsport guys, helping them ease away at the front. 2 seconds, 2 Snipers behind, which is a similar gap to what it was, slightly less actually, but as long as that fight goes on behind, it's not going to come down. Although Ice-T has lost out here. This could be a benefit to Snipers. He's not going to have to worry about defending this time round, because Ice-T has lost a lot of time in the opening part of the lap, and now Pancakes is pressuring him from behind. We've had an incident between Vader and Ben. pair who were running very, very close together have had an incident. They've spun and lost out badly. I can't see any visible damage there to Vader's car, but he certainly lost a big chunk of time. And that is not good for him. Further losing out. Benzilla puts in the fastest lap of the race. Gets closer to his teammate there at the front, but Killer Sniper's response to go even quicker there. And this is a very interesting phase now because they've caught up with Chris Macker-Jones on the super soft tyres. And Snipers is putting in some really good laps now, so they've got to get through quickly to maintain this gap at the front. Bacon Yum goes through nice and cleanly, but Benzilla can't quite follow him through here. He's got a very good run out of the hairpin, and that should be him through as well. Around the outside of Macker-Jones, brakes a lot later with those tyres and makes it through. Ooh, slight touch there between the two, but it's worked. Benzilla putting lap last time round, just having to negotiate Macker-Jones there has meant that he won't be able to pass Bacon Yum this time round. Frobo Jobo has retired. It's a third retirement so far of the race. Now Killer Snipers has the job of getting through on Macker-Jones. Sync have got through nicely. They've got 2 seconds to Chimera now in the lead. But this has worked out well for them. Snipers still not able to get through. This is not... Oh, he's picked up another penalty. That is third penalty. Killer Snipers now in big trouble here. That's 3 time penalties. He's picked up 9 seconds added to his race time. And that's going to put him right down the order now. With 6 seconds, it might not have worked out too bad. Sager there, quite a long way back on him, I guess. With 9 seconds, he might still be able to make that work. He's through now, Macker-Jones. But 9 seconds is going to put him down at least 3 positions, you would imagine. Possibly 2, but actually no. 2 or 3, actually. Because he does got a real pace advantage over Sager. There we go, Chimera is in. End of lap 19. Sync Motorsport move back up to the front of the pack. Bacon Yum from Benzilla. Killer Snipers in 3rd. Icy 4th. And Pancakes 4th. Pancakes putting in a good lap as well. The pace has been relentless from the top 5 here. This is really good to see. 5 drivers all fighting so fast. Snipers is going to lose out badly with those time penalties, but the other 4 doing a really good job here. Where did these guys come out? Yeah, this is interesting. So, we saw Chimera pit there, come out nicely into 7th position, ahead of Clone Troop, behind Sager. Oh, Macker-Jones has crashed straight away, coming out the pit lane. What on earth has happened here? The Ferrari Shazoo driver pitted, came out of the pit lane and has already picked up damage. His race ruined because he's going to have to come straight back into the pit lane. What a shame for him. He should have been coming strong here. Benzilla's taken the lead. Benzilla back into the lead on the pit straight. Lost it on lap 1, has regained it on lap 20. Ice-T with a penalty as well. 3 seconds for him. We haven't seen either of the Sync Motorsport guys pick up penalties yet. I don't think, unless I've missed it coming up at the bottom. So these guys looking good in terms of that, and also, of course, their track position. Benzilla back in the lead, though. They've just got to make sure they don't trip up with each other. I think that's all that can stop them now. But the gloves are off. Benzilla's made the move. First time since lap 1 we've seen the positions change between these 2 drivers. They're going to be desperate to win. This is the problem. Neither of them have won so far this season. So, of course, Bacon Yum only just coming in. So it's not going to be a case of playing the team game. They're going to be desperate to win as a driver. So I think that they could end up fighting. They've just got to keep that in the back of their minds, the team game though. Might not be front and centre. Got to keep it in mind. Chimera already up to Sager. He came out really nicely after that pit stop. Very good, strong first stint. And this is going to be a good race for him in the championship, with his teammate, of course, his closest rival in the championship, 25 points back, currently in 10th. And then other rivals around him not being here today. Bartek Fraz, Tom, he's through now on Sager. Oh, not. He did cut the corner there, though, so he's got to let Sager just come back in front. He's going to have to stay behind him here, going into turn 1. Losing out a little bit of time. There's a chance he could catch up to the back of the top 5, but he's going to have to put in some incredible laps to do that, so it's going to be very hard work. He could be one to benefit from Snipers' penalties there, so watch out for that. Still at the moment, unable to get through. We don't want to miss out on anything happening at the front, so I'm back here as Ice-T looking to pass Killer Snipers. Not able to do it. But could be able to do it here. I don't think we're going to see any changes in the lead this time round. Benzilla got a gap of over half a second over Bacon Yum. Here comes Ice-T now, lining up Snipes. Oh, and he looks around the outside, but it doesn't work. He turned in and Snipes was there. And that has lost Ice-T a lot of time. He spins the car around reasonably quickly. That's going to cost him 6 seconds pretty much. Looking around the outside of Snipes, but just caught him there. It looked like a racing incident to me. They were side by side, so it was a tough one to call. Neither of them really wanted to back out. And that's put Pancakes in a very good position. Of course, we know Snipes has those penalties. So Pancakes now with a nice gap behind and a teammate in front with penalties. Looking good for the final podium position now. Ice-T losing out badly there, and he could be under threat from Key Mirror. He's managed to get past on Sager now. Of course, we know Key Mirror on those tyres. That should give him a performance advantage. Chris Macca-Jones puts in the fastest lap. Of course, he had to make that pit stop though, so that's such a shame for him. And of course, you do get a point for fastest lap, but only if you're in the top 10. What's happening here? Sager looking to repass Key Mirror. What on earth is happening here? Oh, but Sager's in the wall, loses it on the exit. How strange. Sager, of course, trying to repass Key Mirror on much older tyres, so I was very surprised to see that. But he's dropped it on the exit, the hairpin, crashed into the wall. And his race down big trouble here. We've had a change in third position. Snipes letting through Pancakes. I suppose that's probably to do with the penalties, knowing, and Pancakes has had some really good pace as well. Snipes knowing that his chances of the podium are gone because of those penalties, unless someone else has a problem. So letting his teammate through. Perhaps to go after the top 2, but these guys look pretty set. 2.5 seconds now. And a comfortable gap between them. No drama. Since Benzilla got through on Bacon Yum, that gap's been over half a second consistently. So there hasn't been any chance for them to fight and collide. I'm wondering if Kimo has got damage here. So Sager and him must have come together. Yeah, so maybe it wasn't Sager crashing by himself. Maybe there was a collision. Kimo, who would have been looking to fight up the field, is now going to be defending with all of his might. Clone Troop right behind him, amazed as well. Vader close behind. He's going to stick it out. He's going to try and go to the end. But he's losing so much time there just through the final chicane. Clone Troop able to carry so much more speed, and he's through. Amazed into the pit lane though. One of the men who probably would have been lining up to pass him. He's coming in. This is just a strategic decision though, not for damage. And having said that this was going to be a good race for Key Mirror, with his teammate having problems, of course, spinning with that collision with Ben, it's now looking like Vader could take points out of Key Mirror here. Well, it should do, because Mirror's got damage, so it's not massive damage, but it's affecting him, you can see. He's struggling. At the front, still Benzilla, over half a second from Bacon Young, Jacob Pancakes, and Killer Snipes doing a fantastic job there. Livid Racing 3 and 4. Ice-T comfortable in 5th now after that collision he had with Snipes. Clone Troop looking good for 6th here at the moment. I think Amazed making that pit stop could be an interesting one. So he's one of the only people that's going on a 2-stopper, isn't he? A lot of other people have done it just because they had damage, basically. I know Ben had that collision, didn't he? Imp crash early on. Sager, of course, we saw crash, and Macca Jones as well. May's the only person doing a 2-stop by choice, really, coming in their last lap. I think it'll probably leave him in no man's land because... Oh, Kima is off! Kima is off! In Vettel fashion, he's gone on to the grass. Not sure what that was all about. He's managed to keep it out of the wall, though. He's lost out, now behind his teammate, though. Things not looking good for him at all. He's got that damage. He is struggling. And he could find himself at the bottom end of the top 10 here. Already down in 8th and still a long way to go here. Oh, look at this. This is closer at the front. Bacon Yum has closed it. 0.2 of a second now, that gap. And that is very, very interesting to see. Benzilla looked like he just had it under control at the front, but now Bacon Yum responding. Macca Jones with another penalty. I think it's probably now is a good time to check the penalties very, very quickly just to see how we're looking at the front. Oh, Benzilla has a penalty and actually a few more warnings as well. Bacon Yum does not have anything. Ah, okay, so Bacon Yum might not have to pass Benzilla here. Benzilla with a penalty. Amaze puts in the fastest lap there. That's an extra point for him. Of course, he'll be looking to probably get as high as 8th, possibly, if he can continue that kind of pace. But yeah, actually, this could work out as Bacon Yum taking it because of the Benzilla penalty. What about Jam Pancakes? Let's look at that, because Bacon Yum is... Oh, Pancakes has got 2 warnings, but Bacon Yum has as well, doesn't he? But Bacon Yum has 3 warnings, but doesn't have a penalty, which is quite interesting. But those two, both on the edge of a penalty. Sink have got to be careful here. So, as it currently stands, if Pancakes doesn't pick up another penalty, he will take 2nd position because he's within 3 seconds of the leader, Benzilla. Bacon Yum has just got to make sure he doesn't do the same thing and gift victory over to Pancakes. That would be quite something if Sink threw this one away on penalties. Would be very, very unfortunate. We know Snipes has got loads of penalties and now Ice-T is very, very distant. Interesting battle here, Vader. He's turned his race around in the last few laps. His pace has been good since that spin. And now he's looking to pass Clone Troop for 6th position. He's going around the outside and he's going to make it stick. Fantastic move on Clone Troop there from Vader. Move of the day, that one, round the outside. Do not expect to see that kind of move. He's now up into 6th position. Amazed up into 9th. Ahead of Pro Gamer now. And charging down Chimera, still going around with damage. And he's struggling. Clone Troop goes back through on Vader there. He's not giving up. Late braking manoeuvre at the hairpin. Can he hold it now down the back straight though? That's the key thing. There's Vader. But Vader doesn't have DRS, of course, because Clone Troop was behind at the detection zone before the hairpin. So that now allows Clone Troop to stay in front down the straight. Regain 6th position. Chimera has decided to bail out here. I think he'll come out in 10th position, but it's going to be quite close with LCR Ben. He was losing so much time. I think he kind of had to do that. Should have done it a few laps earlier though. Oh, Pancakes has got a penalty. This is looking good now for Sync Motorsport. Chimera's going to drop outside of the top 10. Oh, that hasn't worked at all then. Yeah, he should have come in a few laps ago. If he was going to pit, he should have come in a lot earlier, because by staying out a few laps at really slow pace, he's going to come out in last position. If he'd pitted a few laps earlier, I think he would have been inside the top 10, but just lost so much time that he's now in lap fight through on fresh tyres. We've got to watch out for it, because boy oh boy is he's going to on those fresh tyres. But as is Macca Jones as well, of course, another man who had to make an extra stop due to damage. Look at this. It's going to be interesting racing here. It's all the way down the Clone Troop. Oh, Sorry, Macca Jones, they're having an incident. Had just got up into 12th position, but then they're coming together with him. Lost the car, went across the grass, but managed to keep it out the wall. All this, the 12th position, but it's really hotting up. Apex and BPO Imp side by side there. Through the hairpin and down the straight. Kimura not able to make up a position yet, but now he's going to look to the inside of Macca Jones. Imp keeping the position there at the moment, and a penalty for Kimura. Right, let's go back to the front then. So, pressure off for Sync Motorsport. Pancakes has also got a penalty. So, Benzilla, Pancakes both got penalties. Bacon Yum not yet to pick one up, but on the edge. One more warning and he'll get it. So no pressure in terms of Sync losing the win here. You wouldn't think. It's just whether Bacon Yum picks up a penalty and throws it away, basically. But having said that, the pace of Pancakes, you cannot deny he's closing up. It was 2 seconds. The gap to Bacon Yum. Now it's 1 second. And going into the last few laps, if he can get within DRS, you never know what might happen here. This has been a fantastic race. I knew it was going to be competitive, but this has been massively competitive. Absolutely incredible to see the front four so close together with a few laps to go. And that battle for 12th position still going on as well. Apex has dropped to the back of it. Kimura 14th, now trying to line up Chris Macca Jones. Jones is going to hold that, and in fact, actually forces Kimura sort of off the track there and makes him lose out. But look at this. This is absolutely what Sync Motorsport would not be wanting to see. Jam Pancakes has turned up the pace even more, and perhaps that penalty was as a result of pushing really, really hard. But it's working. Killer Snipers as well catching up with them. We know that he's got loads of penalties, so he's not in contention here. He'll keep 4th position though at the moment, with Ice-T backing off in 5th position after that spin. Killer Snipes, so it's 3 time penalties, would not drop him behind Ice-T, and Ice-T's got penalties himself anyway, so Snipes looking good for 4th, which is a good result despite those, well, considering, sorry, those penalties that he's got. But he's got good pace, so as his teammate. 3.5 laps to go, and Pancakes is lining them up. Situation in terms of penalties: Benzilla 1 penalty, Bacon Yum no penalties, Pancakes 1 penalty. But if Bacon Yum picks up another warning, they're all level on that front, and then it's going to become a straight race. And at the moment, Bacon Yum is going to have to fight hard. This is an opportunity for Pancakes to get through. Who would have thought this a few laps ago? It looked comfortable for Sync Motorsport, but now they're going to be defending going into the last few laps. Pancakes not quite able to get through. Bacon Yum having DRS on his teammate Benzilla. They're proving crucial to staying in front. If he didn't have DRS, he would have been past there. Benzilla picks up another penalty. Benzilla has picked up his 2nd time penalty. Disastrous for him. He's leading at the front, but he's got 2 time penalties. Bacon Yum fighting really, really hard there with Pancakes. Pancakes almost running into the wall with a few laps to go. The gloves are well and truly off, and it's not between teammates now here at the front. We've got the Livid Racing guys right up with the Sync Motorsport guys, so absolute fighting to the death I think we could see here in the late stages. Amaze has managed to get up into 7th position ahead of Clone Troop. He moves up further on those tyres. Good effort from him. But a good lap for Bacon Yum. He's managed to extend his advantage on Pancakes. 0.6 of a second. Although Pancakes has a great run through the hairpin like he did last lap. So he's going to be quite close, but not close enough, you wouldn't think. Another penalty there for Clone Troop. No, and it's working out well. Benzilla proving crucial here. Pancakes has picked up another penalty, and that surely now hands victory to Bacon Yum. I will just very, very quickly check this, but we know Bacon Yum on the edge of a penalty but hasn't picked one up. Pancakes in the last few laps has managed to pick up 2. In his efforts to push really, really hard, he's picked up 2 penalties, which has cost him really any chance. It's allowed him to close up, but he's picked up 2 penalties. He's going down the inside of Bacon Yum. Has he made it stick? Very, very aggressive move, and I think Bacon Young might just be able to hold on. He's got the inside line now, but they're side by side. Bacon Young holds the inside, locks it up, runs off the track. They've both gone off the track there, but Bacon Young no doubt forced Pancakes off the circuit. Locked up the brakes and just ran it off. Pancakes now looking around the outside. He's still fighting hard. He's got 2 time penalties. Bacon Young hasn't got any. So really, he shouldn't really be fighting him, but he's going for it anyway. He wants to get this done on track. He's got the DRS. He's round the outside, and he's through on Bacon Young. Bacon Young losing out there on the track, but he's just got to keep his calm. Benzilla, 2 penalties. Pancakes, 2 penalties. Killer Snipes behind, 3 penalties. So as long as Bacon Young keeps just within shot in this last lap, he will win this race. It's an odd situation. But Benzilla has led since regaining the lead on lap 20, but he's not going to win this race. Much like in real Formula 1, the leader on the circuit is not going to take the win. Pancakes, even if he's able to make the move on Benzilla, again, he's still not going to win. But this could prove crucial for what is second, because they've both got 2 time penalties. So if Pancakes can get through, he'll take second position overall. And he's got an opportunity now going into the hairpin. Benzilla brakes late and holds it, but can he reach the apex? Yes, he can, but it's going to be on the run to the line here. It's an odd situation. This is the battle for second, but on track, the bragging rights, I guess, for the win is between these two. Benzilla is going to lose out here into the final corner. Pancakes goes down the outside, but Benzilla brakes late. Pancakes picks up a penalty though and crashes. Pancakes hits the wall. And that has worked out disastrously for him. Bacon Young takes the win. Benzilla got it on track though. Killer Snipes ends up on the final podium position, with Pancakes picking up a 3rd penalty on the very final corner. Ice-T picks up 5th position in the end. Vader is going to be 6th, but ESR Amaze was putting a fantastic stint on the ultra soft tyres to pressure him into the final corner. It's not going to be enough though, but on the run to the line he could get it done. They're going side by side. Amazed is through. He did pick up a time penalty in the process though, and that drops him behind. As WR Clone Troop comes across the line for 8th, and then the final points position is going to be between Sager and Ben. Ben picks up a penalty at the final corner. I'm seeing so many people pushing hard into that final corner and picking up a penalty. Pro Gamer and Sager round out the point in the end for Team PFL, but no, they don't. BPL Imp takes 9th. He didn't have any penalties, and that's jumped him up, so Sager drops out the points. Wow, that was crazy end to that race. As I expected, penalties did shape up that order a lot, but there was plenty of action to go along with it. People certainly didn't give up. And in the end, it is Bacon Young who takes victory in just his 2nd appearance in URC. There he is with the trophy. On track, Benzilla just held off Jam Pancakes in the end. Pancakes binning it, trying to win it at the line in what would have been 2nd if he got it stick. But he picked up a penalty and hit the wall, which in turn dropped him down behind Killer Snipes for 3rd position. But there we go, Bacon Young's Benzilla with 2 time penalties. Killer Snipes 3rd, Pancakes 4th, Ice-T there in 5th, Vader in 6th, Amazed in 7th. Good job from him, and he picks up an extra point as well for the fastest lap within the top 10, and I think fastest lap overall as well. Clone Troop in 8th, BPL Imp moving up because he had no time penalties into 9th, and then Pro Gamer in 10th, Sager in 11th, Ben in 12th, Apex in 13th, Chimera in 14th, Chris Macca-Jones in 15th. On non-finishers were Throwbridge Obo, Goblin and Pickless. What a brilliant race that was. That was absolutely fantastic. And if Tier 1 is anything like that, it's going to be an absolute corker. That was brilliant. I hope that's whetted your appetite for another race coming up now. And yeah, we'll be getting underway in around about 10 minutes or so with the Tier 1 race. Thank you very much for watching that race. I hope you enjoyed it, because I certainly did. Yeah, and I'll see you in just a few minutes for the Tier 1 action. Goodbye.